Hello everybody and welcome to another video with me, Matt Goddard, at the Boxing Locker. And today, this is my reaction to the victory yesterday of the monster Inoue over Pantera Luis Nery. Now, we saw some vulnerabilities in Inoue for the first time, but it's unsurprising. He's boxed 22 world champions or for 22 world title fights and knocked out 20 of those opposition. That is a high level of opposition to be competing with, and to not get dropped in all of them fights until now, even though he's moved through 4 different weight classes, been a 4-weight world champion and undisputed at 2 weights, is just exceptional. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a cretinous imbecile. And I mean that. Now, you don't have to be a Inoue fan on a personal level. You don't have to be a fan of Japanese boxing. But to dispute the skill level of this man is ridiculous. It is absolutely ludicrous. And this fight is just another example of him demonstrating exactly that. Now, what did we see? He got dropped with his punch. I think he was trying to exercise physical control. Nery pulled back. Inoue fell in inside his opponent's southpaw lead foot as he fell in. I think he was lucky that his weight shortened the distance that Nery's punch could cover, because it meant he couldn't generate as much velocity through the rotation. And as such, even though it knocked him down and sort of spun him around, a lot of that was to do with him being off balance. He was definitely wobbled, but the manner in which he landed was his commitment to trying to throw the right hand counter. And also the reason why he was vulnerable to the shot was because he was planning on pulling back and throwing the right hand counter. If you watch it back, he drives that way as the shot catches him. Right hand low, chin up in the air. Look, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect 100% of the time. What's important for champions is how they react to adversity, and more importantly, am I back? More importantly, how they overcome that adversity. And Inoue perfectly demonstrated how champions do that. He got up onto one knee, kept his eyes forward, made sure it was clear that he was okay, stood up, got through the round and survived, went back to the corner, recovered, came out the second round looking a little bit shaky, but boxing more sensibly, maintaining distance, walked Nery on to a beautifully delivered short left hook, dropped Nery, Nery's legs were shaking, and after that it was a different fight entirely. Inoue controlled distance a lot more. He stayed just outside of Nery's range. Nery lunged in, Inoue picked him off. He worked a lot more off the jab. His footwork was a lot more relaxed. He wasn't so overcommitted. I think perhaps excitement was a factor in the first round, and he probably wanted to dominate and establish himself in front of his home crowd, which is okay. You know, it's okay to do that. But I think he just made a mistake. He sort of lunged in and fell in against the southpaw opponent, and it didn't work very well. Obviously hasn't worked in his favour, but the manner in which he recovered was exceptional. He went to drop Nery 3 times en route to a stoppage victory, knockout victory. The right hook, right uppercut-esque sort of shovel hook into the straight overhand right is a punch that I teach my guys all the time in the gym. It's a beautiful little combination. It's very difficult to defend if you land the first shot, because 90% of people are expecting that left hook to follow. And a lot of people will be real lazy with the left hand because they're looking to throw their own counter. And if you're nice and short and sharp in that rotation, and you generate as much force around that central rotation as possible, you can really do some damage with it. And that's exactly what we saw with Inoue. As always, shot selection was excellent. I've seen a lot of people comment they don't understand how he punches so powerfully. The key to that, as with all things in boxing, is technique, efficiency of movement, maximum rotation, accuracy and precision. He aims for areas that do damage, and that's the key. You can't just flap your arms around and expect to be knocking people out. You can hurt people, you can wobble people, but to knock people out, you have to hit specific areas that are going to attack the central nervous system and switch people off. And that doesn't happen if you're just flapping your arms around willy-nilly. You have to be accurate, you have to be precise, and Inoue did that with perfect execution in that fight yesterday. Nery all credit to him, kept trying. I don't think he had a lot to offer. Even towards the end of the second round, moving into the third, I don't think he had much to offer at all. He recovered reasonably well from the first knockdown, but by that point it was game over. And another excellent Nery Inoue performance. Do I think he should move up in weight? No. Do I think talk of Gervonta Davis is a good idea? No, ridiculous. You're looking at Davis, who's boxed up as high as, I believe he went to welterweight to fight Mario Barrios, was it? I don't know. But nonetheless, the guy is far too big and far too established at being larger for Inoue to even consider that fight. Perhaps when Gervonta was a lightweight, they could have looked at making a catchweight fight there, as we saw with Rigondeaux and Lomachenko all those years ago. But in reality, there's no need for Inoue to do that. He is not naturally big enough and doesn't have a big enough frame to do that. It's not like he's boxing these guys and he looks enormous. I think 126, perhaps a little go at 130 before he ends it all is a potential opportunity, but above 130 is just a ludicrous concept. Even 130 seems a bit ridiculous, unless they pump him full of steroids and jack him up. But hey, not naming any names, but you know, maybe that's what we've seen happen in the past with multiple weight world champions who seem to have suddenly got more and more powerful as they've got bigger. But anyway, we'll move on from that one. If you can figure out who I'm talking about, pop it down in the comments below. Whether you think it's true or not, I'm not saying it is. This is just conjecture. Nonetheless, Nery Inoue, fantastic performance. Demonstrated the heart and grit of a true champion. This guy is 4 weight, twice undisputed, Muhammad Ali trophy winning, elite level, top 2 pound for pound boxer, and you just can't question it. He's just exceptional. He's got every attribute he needs. One other thing to comment on is a lot of people keep saying he's got no defense, he's got no chin. He hasn't been dropped in 28 fights, I believe he's had now, 28 fights. He's been dropped once, and that's in the last fight. When he's moved up to the highest weight he's competed at in the last 4 or 5 bouts, against the guy who was 27 knockouts in 35 wins, against an elite level opposition, and this guy has got a record of 20 knockouts in 22 world title fights, which is just madness. And to say he has no defense and no chin is just ridiculous. He went 12 rounds with Donaire, who's one of the biggest punchers of the last 20 years, and then he stopped him in the rematch. He's taken big shots from some excellent boxers, and he hasn't even flinched. You know, he had a fractured orbital, I believe, in the first Donaire fight, and he boxed through it. He got up from this punch, which was a big punch. He got up from it and shook it off like nothing had happened, and got through the round and did what he needed to do to get the stoppage in the 6th. So that's just a nonsensical argument that seems to only come from a specific sect of boxing fans that seem to be Japanese boxing haters, even though now Japanese boxing has got 13 world champions, I believe. US only has 14, Mexico only has 12. So that's an interesting one to watch for. And if Tim Tszyu hadn't been caught out by that cut against Sebastian Fundora, then there would have been even numbers on those world titles. So Japanese boxing has a big resurgence on the way. So keep an eye on it. If you don't watch Japanese boxing, there's some great names out there. There's some good names on this show, and Nery Inoue is at the pinnacle of that. Thank you for listening to the video. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it all. Let me know your thoughts on the fight in the comments below. Maybe you disagree with what I've said. Maybe you think Inoue has got bad defense. Maybe you think he is chinny. Let's see what you say. We can always have a chat about it. I appreciate all of you who have already subscribed, and if you haven't, please do, and I'll see you for the next video.